Good evening, I'm Ian Hannemanson. Tonight, U.S. Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg dies after a battle with cancer.
I am proud to nominate
her legacy for the court and for women. And what happens now? As COVID cases rise, a sobering message for Canadians.
We are going to have to dial back, and the longer we wait, the worse it's going to be.
Plus, how to relieve the testing crunch.
The people are not going to be so submissive or so approving of this lockdown.
On Rosh Hashanah in Israel, a new year and new COVID restrictions. And an everyday ride of vulnerability.
My mom also has an essential job, so it's like we don't even have a choice to stay home.
When making a living makes avoiding crowds impossible. This is The National. And we begin tonight with breaking news. United States Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg dying of complications from pancreatic cancer. She was 87, her death sending shockwaves through Washington tonight, just weeks from a presidential election. While who replaces her and when will almost certainly alter and dominate the campaign, tonight Ginsburg is being remembered as a trailblazer, just the second woman to serve on the country's highest court. Ginsburg has long been a vocal feminist, but recently she'd become a pop culture icon for a new generation. Lindsay Duncombe begins our coverage with a look at Ginsburg's life and her legacy.
The fight for women's equality in the United States wasn't just Ruth Bader Ginsburg's life's work. She lived the struggle.
She saw injustice in the world. She fought it. And she did so while ascending to the highest court in the country, but very much staying herself.
Ginsburg was born in Depression-era Brooklyn to Jewish immigrants. She decided at Cornell University she wanted to be a lawyer.
My family had grave misgivings because who wanted to hire a lady lawyer in those days?
Ginsburg was one of 9 women at Harvard Law School in a class of 500. She studied alongside her husband, Martin.
We were best friends, and he was the first guy I had ever dated who cared that I had a brain.
When her husband was sick with cancer, Ruth attended both of their classes and cared for their baby daughter. She graduated top of her class, but firms wouldn't hire her. After 41 rejections, she turned to teaching.
Mr. Chief Justice, and may it please the court.
In the 1970s, as a lawyer for the American Civil Liberties Union, Ginsburg argued 6 cases before the Supreme Court, challenging sex-based discrimination in the law. She won 5 of them, changing the legal landscape for American women. An appointment to the D.C. Appeals Court led to the Supreme Court.
I am proud to nominate for Associate Justice of the Supreme Court Judge Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
As the court moved to the right, Ginsburg became known for reading her sharp, scathing dissents from the bench. Her closest friend was her ideological opposite. She and conservative Justice Antonin Scalia shared a love of good opera and good argument. In 2013, a law student started this blog, calling Ginsburg Notorious RBG, a play on the rapper Notorious B.I.G. It stuck.
There she is, also known as the Notorious RBG.
Despite the worship, there was pressure on Ginsburg to retire before the end of the Obama presidency so that she could be replaced with another liberal justice. She didn't. During the 2016 campaign, Ginsburg was openly critical of Donald Trump and later apologized. With his election, Ginsburg's status as a hero of the left escalated. There were films, a documentary,
the closest thing to a superhero I know,
and a Hollywood feature.
What did you say your name was? Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
The 2-time cancer survivor even took her workout routine to late-night TV.
I'm cramping and I'm working out with an 85-year-old woman.
Underlying it all, concern from the left that the tiny woman who changed so much would not survive the Trump presidency. Those fears were realized today. Lindsay Duncombe, CBC News, Washington.
And here's the scene outside the Supreme Court tonight. Hundreds of people gathering to pay tribute to Justice Ginsburg, lighting candles, leaving flowers, the flags lowered to half-mast. Much will be said in the coming days about Ginsburg's legacy, but a vacant seat on the Supreme Court will also drastically change the campaign for president, the election just 45 days away. Katie Simpson joins us now from Washington. And Katie, let's talk about the impact on the campaign.
And it may be uncomfortable to discuss the political implications on the same day as her death, but Ruth Bader Ginsburg's passing is going to completely reshape the U.S. election. Justice Ginsburg explicitly told her granddaughter it was her wish she not be replaced until a new president is installed. And remember, the appointment of Supreme Court justices is a significant motivating factor for voters in this country. It's one of the ways Donald Trump has held on to support from conservatives. He's promised to stack the court with conservative justices, and some Americans will hold their noses and vote for him because they want to see that kind of change on the Supreme Court. Before her death, the U.S. Supreme Court was split, a bloc of 5 conservatives and 4 liberals. Ginsburg was the leader of that liberal bloc. Now, this too may in fact motivate Democrats who want to see Ginsburg replaced by another liberal voice.
Now, in terms of timing and process, with just relatively few days before the election, can the president name a new justice in that window?
He absolutely can, and there are strong indications that he will. The federal election may be in early November, and even if President Donald Trump loses and Republicans lose their majority in the Senate, the changes don't actually kick in until next year. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has just put out a statement saying they will move forward procedurally if Trump does name a replacement. Now, this is very different from what Mitch McConnell and Republicans did in 2016. They rejected President Barack Obama's final Supreme Court justice pick, arguing it's an election year. The new president should pick. And now Obama made that decision 200 days before that vote. Republicans appear to be opening themselves up to a different standard, holding themselves to a different standard if they do push to get Trump's appointment in.
All right, Katie, thank you very much. And we have much more ahead on Ruth Bader Ginsburg and what her absence on the U.S. top court means for the country. That's in about 20 minutes. So the U.S. election not until November the 3rd, but early voting began today in 4 states, including Minnesota. Both presidential candidates were there today, and so was our Susan Ormiston, who got a chance to speak to some of the voters.
Today's ballot has 2 sides. Masks and plexiglass, but at least they're voting. Proud Americans casting their first in-person ballots, 46 days early.
Thank you for voting today.
Early voting could break records this election.
With COVID and hurricanes and civil unrest, all indicators suggest more Americans than ever want to vote early. 6 in 10 say they intend to, and that could mean more than 60 million votes cast between now and Election Day.
When you show up in person and you drop it in the box yourself, you know what you've done.
Hi. Hello. Are you registered to vote?
Uh-huh.
Anika Robbins and West Whitfield are door knocking for Black Votes Matter.
I wanted to find out if you were registered.
And I don't believe I am.
No? Okay. Well, here, we can help you with that.
Trying to raise the black vote in such a critical election.
And there's so many bad things that's happening right now, you know. I mean, coronavirus, then the George Floyd thing, then the looting and, you know, people tearing up their own neighborhoods where you have to shop. You know, that's, yeah, that was sad.
Our country is really kind of frayed right now.
She sees early voting as a kind of insurance.
I think that things are just very tense and it can go either way. And all we can do is just encourage people to get out and vote.
George Floyd's shadow hangs over Minneapolis, planting the fight for racial justice squarely in this election.
I feel like that sparked a change.
But millennials here are struggling too to believe in the power of a vote.
It's voting for the 2 lesser evils, and it's pretty much like nothing's going to change for us, especially the communities of color and inner city communities.
But in Zachary Smith's barbershop, voting as soon as one can is a privilege. He created a room of honor for all those who paved the way.
We're standing on the shoulders that are in that room, in that mural, of giants that have bled, sweat, and died for the opportunity for us to vote.
Now and every day till November 3rd. Susan Ormiston, CBC News, Minneapolis.
The closure of the U.S.-Canada border to non-essential travel was extended today for another month, but one person seems optimistic that situation won't last, the U.S. president.
We're looking at the border with Canada. Canada would like it opened, and, you know, we want to get back to normal business. We're working with Canada. We want to pick a good date. Having to do with the pandemic, and I happen to think we're rounding the turn. We're doing very well. I thank you very much.
Donald Trump says the borders will open pretty soon, despite high or rising case rates in both countries, with 45,000 emerging in the U.S. today alone. Well, here, some may be wearing masks, some may be avoiding gatherings, but whatever we're doing collectively to control the rate of COVID-19 transmission, it is not enough. The average rate of daily new cases across the country has more than doubled in just 1 month, but the number of COVID-19 patients in hospital remains low and stable, at least so far. The likely reason for weeks of the trend is that about 2/3 of the newly emerging cases are in people under the age of 40. Younger people aren't usually the most vulnerable, but as carriers and spreaders, they do endanger those who are. Katie Nicholson shows us how the risk is outpacing the response.
Stephanie Tripodi makes drinks for others, but by the end of her shift, she could use one too to soothe her COVID worries.
It's just a little bit like worrisome because you really never know. Like you don't know who the people you're like interacting with on a daily basis, who they've been in contact with. So you're really just like kind of just like gambling.
The bartender has mixed emotions about having to work as COVID cases climb.
It's a tough call because, you know, you need to make money and you need to pay rent and pay bills.
Her apprehension shared in Ottawa, where people 6 feet apart lined all along the block for COVID tests. They tell the story of a province's upward surge. Today, 401 reported cases in Ontario, the highest daily number since June. An acknowledgement action is needed.
We cannot run at government speed. We have to run at COVID speed.
Next week, pharmacies here will help pitch in with testing. And the Premier hints he will be cracking down on COVID by bringing in further penalties for big parties in even more communities across the province. Toronto's mayor is also promising more rules.
We did discuss the notion of sorting out some of the legalities, if I can put it that way, of what more we might do with respect to masks.
Medical experts agree increased penalties and enforcement might help flatten Canada's curve.
A lot of people will not change their behavior if there's no consequences to their actions.
As the trend pushes upward, some doctors say even more restrictive measures are needed.
We are going to have to dial back, and the longer we wait, the worse it's going to be.
But for now, no new closures, no new lockdowns, and always the chance of infection. And like many Canadians, it's a risk she has to take. Katie Nicholson, CBC News, Toronto.
Quebec's latest move to contain the spread of the virus is a massive police operation.
We have to use every tool and every gesture at our disposal to avoid a second wave of COVID in Quebec.
The province says police will visit 1,000 licensed establishments over the weekend and hit up owners and patrons with fines of up to $6,000 for breaking public health rules. Getting a COVID test in Ontario and Quebec can mean long lineups, as we saw, but just yesterday, BC became the first province to approve a convenient spit and gargle test for kids. And as Susanna De Silva shows us, that's getting a lot of attention today.
The first one felt like my nose was like I had a nosebleed.
The first one was a swab up Raymond Wu's nose for a COVID test, but he has now gotten to try something new and be the example for kids around BC.
You know, it was like I was swimming and accidentally got some water in my mouth.
Some children may do this on their own.
He used the new swish, gargle, and spit method to collect samples. The goals being comfort and speed, as parents and kids can do most of the work, and reduce exposure for healthcare workers. Miriam Abdi has been administering them for about a week.
Mouth gargles are much easier for kids, so it's less traumatic for kids. And we involve parents in the picture, so it makes it a little bit easier.
The samples are still processed the same way as nasal swabs, and doctors who developed the method say their research has shown it is about 98% as accurate as samples collected through swabs, and more accurate than simply spitting into a tube. Other provinces are paying attention.
And that work is underway in Alberta, but I don't have a timeline as to when it might be able to be moved forward.
As soon as I saw that, I went right to our team and I said, you know, I saw gargling with salt water, putting in, I think that's great for kids. I think it's great for everyone.
Nova Scotia says it's also looking into it, but one issue everywhere, including BC, is a short supply of the tubes needed.
Pretty much 2 hours before the center even opened, there were 44 people in the lineup.
So the new test isn't going to help the situation for parents outside of BC right now. Kiyavashna Jaffe waited 5 hours to get his toddler tested in Ottawa.
On a chilly day in Ottawa, to watch these kids stand in the lineup for that long, it's wrong, and it's just not fair for them.
The new method for kids is available at testing centres throughout BC, with the hope that adults will also have the option at some point. Susanna De Silva, CBC News, Vancouver.
So let's bring in Dr. Isaac Bogosh, infectious disease specialist in Toronto. So case numbers clearly soaring in many parts of the country, but hospitalizations aren't at the same pace, and yet you are still very concerned. Why?
I am very concerned, and I don't want to be the pessimist here, but unfortunately we know that this infection is very contagious, and right now it's really overwhelmingly in people in their 20s and 30s. We know it doesn't stay restricted to one age group for long. If it's left to spread unchecked, it will spread to other age groups, including older or more vulnerable populations, and it won't stay to a restricted geography for long as well. So sadly, if we don't do anything, or if we don't take corrective action, it will spread and we will see hospitalization and death. Those are a lagging indicator, but it's predictable. It could happen if we don't take action now.
I know there's no easy answer to this, but what should we be doing then to try to contain this?
We really have to reevaluate our fundamental pillars of our epidemic response and really ensure that we're optimizing testing, tracing, isolation, community engagement, communication strategies, and certainly optimize all of those fronts as we head into the fall and the winter.
But the bottom line here, of course, as you say, we need to take these soaring numbers very seriously. Dr. Bogosh, thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Bloc Québécois leader Yves-François Blanchet has tested positive for COVID-19. In a statement, he said he's doing perfectly well but will remain in isolation until late September. His wife tested positive earlier in the week. Several of the BQ caucus and staffers are also self-isolating as a precaution. Despite COVID circulating on the Hill and the spike in cases in the nation's capital, 4 of Canada's premiers met in Ottawa today with an urgent request: more money for healthcare. Salima Shivji has the details.
This may all look different, the masks and the distance, but the message is far from new.
We're here to ask the federal government, step up to the plate. We need 35%.
The premiers want a big boost to healthcare transfers, $28 billion more a year, no strings attached, pushing Ottawa's share from 22% to 35%, to address, they say, chronic issues made worse by a pandemic.
Nothing right now is more important to Canadians than healthcare.
The federal government's contribution levels are the lowest they've been. The demand is the highest it's been.
Not about politics, it's about people.
Still, the politics are hard to avoid. Days out from the throne speech that will reveal the government's path forward, the Prime Minister was in private, virtual meetings with opposition leaders, but the premiers were determined to deliver their demands in person. Even though the capital is struggling with testing and a spike in infections, the premiers say that's the urgency, and this is the best way to get their message across.
We've had a lot of productive phone conversations, but this is a very high-profile, tangible way of emphasizing the importance of this issue.
Ottawa has spent billions in this crisis, much of that sent directly to the provinces, more than $10 billion specifically to help with healthcare costs. The Trudeau Liberals say they're listening.
The Prime Minister has said on multiple occasions that he is happy to talk to premiers about the Canada Health Transfer.
Happy to talk, just not right now, more like sometime later this fall. Even though Ottawa and the provinces all agree on one thing, the urgency of the health crisis in front of us. Salima Shivji, CBC News, Ottawa.
And an update to a story we had for you on the National last night. An Ontario woman with cancer has received her dying wish.
Thank you everybody for helping me. It meant so much to me and my family.
Diane Costello was reunited with her U.S.-based parents at her bedside last night. Her daughter has struggled for weeks to get Costello's parents an exemption from the federal government from mandatory quarantine rules, which effectively prevented them from visiting because of their own health issues. The story got increased attention after CBC News revealed a billionaire CEO got an exemption at the border for a business meeting. Tonight, the worldwide number of COVID-19 cases has crossed another milestone. More than 30 million people have tested positive. 948,000 have died. One country that's seen a big increase in cases is Israel, with a 7-day average of 4,200. Not only the nation's highest since the pandemic began, but one of the highest per capita in the world. That's led Israel's government to impose a second lockdown just as the Jewish high holidays begin. Margaret Evans has the story.
Lots of balls in the air, but not many masks and very little social distancing. Tel Aviv's waterfront more crowded than usual as Israelis tried to soak up that last bit of beach time before heading into lockdown again.
We live really close to the beach, so it'll be really hard not coming here for a few weeks. People were not careful and the government wasn't restrictive enough.
The lockdown, which will last at least 3 weeks, coincides with the start of the Jewish high holidays. The idea being that life and business tend to slow. But restaurant owners like Avi Shetrit say it's a disaster.
We have a restaurant 22 years working, and now we have to close again, and we don't know how it will affect us.
Police were on the road from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, questioning motorists about their destinations even before the lockdown began mid-afternoon. Israel tackled the coronavirus aggressively back in March, even setting up separate voting stations for those isolating. Critics say the government lifted the lockdown too soon and failed to curb large gatherings, in particular in ultra-Orthodox communities. Around 5,500 people are now being infected every day, a staggering number for such a small country.
In a democracy, you have to have the trust of the people.
Political scientist Gail Talshir says regular protests against the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in Jerusalem are unprecedented.
I think what we're going to see over this lockdown is that the people are not going to be so submissive or so approving of this lockdown.
Yesterday, Netanyahu said the number of severe cases in Israel is on the rise, warning that lockdown rules could become even stricter. But he also knows he's walking a very fine line. Margaret Evans, CBC News, London.
Toronto police have arrested and charged a man in connection with a murder outside a mosque last weekend.
There does not appear to be any motive, and there does not appear to be any known relationship between the accused and our victim.
The man is accused of stabbing to death a 58-year-old outside a mosque last Saturday. Investigators are looking to see whether the case could be connected to another murder in the area.
They're 17-year-old boys, you know, they're full of life.
In PEI, 2 missing 17-year-olds have now been publicly identified. Alex Hutchinson and Ethan Riley's boat capsized Wednesday off the coast of western PEI. Officials say the search is now considered a recovery operation. Tensions ran high today on the shores of Nova Scotia over the lobster fishery. The commercial season is over for the year, but yesterday a Mi'kmaq First Nation put their traps in the water. 2 people were arrested. Kayla Hounsell has the story.
Look at them all, man. They have us surrounded.
The day began with dozens of non-Indigenous commercial lobster boats circling on the water.
It's just another intimidation tactic. We've been going through it for the last 48 hours, really. And yesterday we dropped our first ever livelihood traps, and they were cut before we made it back in.
We ain't going anywhere either, man.
Tensions have been escalating since the Sebeganegedy First Nation launched a self-regulated fishery yesterday.
It is our treaty right to fish, no matter what the you can argue with us.
I don't care if you guys are the man on the moon. It's not right.
Indigenous people do have a right to fish for food, but can't sell the product without a commercial license, and they've been clear they intend to. The Supreme Court of Canada acknowledged their right to fish for a moderate livelihood 21 years ago, but the court also said that was subject to government regulation, And so far, there are no rules.
We don't need governance from the Canadian government. We govern ourselves. So our tags came from a management plan made up by our community.
But Nova Scotia's commercial lobster fishery is now closed, and the fisheries minister says any commercial fishing is unauthorized. She's calling on both sides to meet with her.
Right now, there is so much tension that we just really need to calm that tension down. That is the #1 priority right now.
The RCMP say they arrested 2 people. It's unclear from which side. Non-Indigenous fishermen say their concern is conservation.
It's the time of year when the lobsters are vulnerable and they're taking them when they're breeding. If we kill all of our babies, we'll have no adults later in life.
The non-Indigenous fishermen are out there cutting trout. They're doing all this stuff.
With no end to the impasse in sight, Mi'kmaq chiefs are calling on the Department of Fisheries, the Nova Scotia government, and the RCMP to protect them. Kayla Hounsell, CBC News, Halifax.
Overcrowding on Toronto's transit system has prompted some serious questions and protests.
If you want to sit, you have no chance. But even when you stand, you have no breathing space.
How it affects neighborhoods already among the hardest hit.
I'd love for the politicians to take the buses themselves.
Plus a homecoming 6 months in the making. We're back in 2. Ruth Bader Ginsburg was a legal and political giant in the United States for both supporters and critics. Flags are at half-mast tonight at the U.S. Capitol, a testament to the deep mark the Supreme Court justice leaves on American society and culture. For the crowd gathered outside the Supreme Court, her death with a U.S. election just weeks away adds uncertainty to their grief. Well, for more on what her life and death means, we're joined by longtime CBC Washington correspondent Keith Moog, who is in Ottawa this evening, and Canadian criminal defense lawyer Marie Hennen, who is in Toronto. RBG, as she was known by many, was a trailblazer for women and the law. So Marie, let me start with you and your thoughts on that part of her legacy.
Well, she had a significant legacy, both as a lawyer. She argued numerous cases in the Supreme Court of the United States. She founded the ACLU women's rights section or division. And then as a judge, she was extremely, extremely powerful. Virginia, where she dealt with gender equality as a constitutional right, same-sex marriage and Hodges, and of course her dissents were equally powerful. The one probably we all know about is Bush and Gore. She was a legal titan. There's no question about that.
And so now there is, of course, a vacancy on the Supreme Court, and it may seem inappropriate to be talking a lot about this tonight, but it's a big part of the American story. Keith, how quickly can she be replaced?
Well, I think you can expect the president to nominate someone to replace her very soon. He came up with another list, as he did in the last campaign, of possible judicial nominees just about 10 days ago, and he'll select somebody from that, and it'll become a part of his campaign. I think that he probably sees an opportunity in this to remind people that he has reshaped the court in his first 4 years, and that voting for him again means that he can continue to do that. But I think what's really interesting tonight is Mitch McConnell, the majority leader in the Senate, saying that there will be a vote on the floor of the Senate. What that means, as far as I can see, is that he intends to have a vote no matter who wins the next election. He intends to have a vote even if it's in the lame duck session between the election and the swearing in of a new government. He intends to have a vote even if the election indicates that the Democrats will have a majority in the Senate. So you can take from that it's going to be an urgent priority, probably more so for Mitch McConnell than even Donald Trump.
I want to come back to that issue in a moment, but Maria, I want to ask you this first. If President Trump does choose her replacement, what does that mean for the Supreme Court and its impact on American society?
It would be a very, very substantial impact on American society. It would put the majority firmly in the Republican side of things, and the swing, we've seen some swing with Roberts, but her being replaced by a Republican nominee would be quite significant, and there is a real agenda there. And I just want to pick up on something. You may recall that when Obama was on his way out, he had nominated Merrick Garland to replace Scalia, and the Republicans were up in arms and absolutely refused to open the floor on the Senate to vote because they said it was an election year. So it'll be quite a stunning turn of events to take such a contradictory position now and to try to push this through.
We're going to hear a lot about that stunning turn of events if indeed it does come to pass. And Keith, many people expect that it will, in that the Republicans will go ahead and try to replace Ginsburg no matter what the timing is here. Tell us about the political impact of all of this, which I'm sure we'll begin hearing about tonight, certainly if not tonight, then tomorrow.
Well, obviously, I think Donald Trump would like this issue to play for him the way that the similar issue with Merrick Garland played in the 2016 election. But this is actually quite different. At that time, Senator Mitch McConnell was essentially taking the seat hostage and saying it will be filled by whoever wins the election. As I've explained, that's not the case this time. He intends to have a vote on the nominee regardless of the outcome of the election. So there's that thing to consider in terms of the presidential race. But this will now also have an impact on a number of important Senate races that will decide that majority. Take, for example, Republican Susan Collins in Maine. She's going to have to answer questions about whether she thinks it's appropriate for the Republicans to use the lame duck session to confirm a Supreme Court nominee. And she has to be very careful about how she answers that question because it could have an impact on whether she continues her career as a senator. She's trailing in the polls there. So this is going to happen in Maine for her, and it's going to happen in a handful of other states that are right on the edge that could go Democratic or Republican in the election. And now this is a big issue for those senators to have to discuss on the stump.
So deep is her impact on so many things, Marie, that we were just looking at pictures of people drawn to the U.S. Supreme Court tonight, I think, just to share experiences and mark her passing. What are you thinking about tonight?
Well, I think she was just an absolute icon for women, for young women. She crossed the bar into the consciousness of the public. She was quiet, as you know. She was an intellect. But she was pragmatic and also principled. She exhibited a strength that I think a lot of women were inspired by, and she is a very, very significant loss.
And Keith, less than 30 seconds, last thoughts?
I think the thing to watch for in the next few weeks of the election campaign is this question about what will the Democrats do if the Republicans go ahead, as they promised to do, and try to confirm a nominee in the lame duck session. If they should win the presidency and the Senate and hold on to the House, will they use the power they have in Washington to enlarge the Supreme Court? It's something they've been talking about ever since the Merrick Garland issue surfaced. It's certainly something that's going to come up very, very quickly.
Keith Bogue, Marie Hennon, really nice hearing your reflections and your analysis tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on The National, buses crowded with people and plenty of worry. We look into concerns about overcrowding on Toronto's transit in already hard-hit areas. Before the pandemic, overcrowding on Toronto Transit was just a daily annoyance. Now it can be a health risk. But many commuters don't have the option of giving up their ride. And at rush hour, many buses are still jammed. The problem is especially acute in areas of the city that have already been hit hard by COVID-19. And as Ellen Morrow explains, as the case numbers rise and temperatures drop, many passengers are worried.
The evening rush in northwest Toronto. Bus after bus, passengers piling on board.
Please wear a mask or face covering when wearing the TTC.
Through those reflections, see them crammed together. Physical distancing impossible. And with the virus's resurgence, heightened anxiety. Raquel Tomlinson braves the crowds every day on her way to work.
I'm disappointed in the TTC system and the government. They should be doing something about this. They should be recognizing that people's lives are at danger.
This is what the inside of those buses looks like. Scenes captured by frustrated passengers, some posted on social media to pressure authorities. Samuel Kasitu, reliant on the bus, worries colder weather will only make the crowding worse.
If you want to sit, you have no chance. But even when you stand, you have no breathing space.
Concern here not just over the crowds, but also the troubling reality that this area, northwest Toronto, is the city's hardest hit by COVID. There have been more cases in this pocket of the city than anywhere else. Still, many here have no choice but to ignore their fears and cram inside. It's the only way they can get to work.
It's not always going to be possible on all routes at all times to have that distance.
The Toronto Transit Commission has added 110 extra buses to increase service, but as the overcrowding in some areas continues, it has yet to bring back all the staff it laid off earlier in the pandemic, citing inadequate demand across the system overall.
So one of the things that we're saying to people is if there's a vehicle that's uncomfortably crowded, like if there are more people than you're comfortable with, step off and wait for the next one. That's not an ideal solution, but it is an option that people will have. But our focus is on getting buses out there where they're needed most.
These protesters in East Toronto are calling on the province to boost transit funding.
We demand that the provincial government wake up.
Jennifer Robinson's son has a respiratory condition, too worried now to take the bus.
I would love for them to come out here and try it. I'd love for the politicians to take the buses themselves. I'd love for them to have the same feeling that people who, are immigrants or in lower paying jobs feel.
Rashev Brown, a grocery worker, knows that feeling all too well, walking to his bus stop at 5 a.m. Brown's mother is asthmatic. Every day he's scared he'll bring the virus home.
I come home, I gotta make sure that I take my clothes off right away by the door. And my mom also is an essential job, so it's like we don't even have a choice to stay home. So we gotta really just watch how we navigate the lines in terms of bringing income in, but at the same time staying safe.
A difficult balance now, one set to become more precarious as cases rise and winter looms. Ellen Morrow, CBC News, Toronto.
Still ahead on the National, a husband's homecoming 6 months after he got sick with COVID.
I'm just overjoyed and so thankful that he's coming home finally.
His story a little later, but first. This weekend on Coping with COVID, we're looking at life post-pandemic, how the virus is changing our lives.
Move through the space in a COVID-compliant way.
From how we work.
It was super easy. You just have to spit into a tube.
To how we test.
Moving in the balconies. How you doing, folks? This is unusual.
And how we have fun. Adrian takes a glimpse into the future, coping with COVID this weekend on CBC News Network. Welcome back. The Trump administration appears to be making good on its threats aimed at two Chinese tech firms. As of midnight Sunday, American users will not be able to download messaging app Wechat and the video sharing giant TikTok. Thomas Dagla now on what that crackdown means for those in the U.S. and here in Canada.
For an app that at first glance just looks like fun, there sure is trouble ahead. From the U.S. president's perspective, here's why.
You have to have the total security from China.
Claiming TikTok's Chinese owners give personal user data to Beijing, the U.S. administration is ordering app stores to stop offering TikTok as of Sunday.
We can never take Trump and his administration's claims at face value. The internet is intended to allow, open communication.
Maybe banning TikTok. No, please.
U.S. TikTokers aren't impressed, and there are tens of millions of them.
You know what? I don't want to say goodbye.
By contrast, the Canadian government is actually advertising on TikTok, using it to warn young people about the dangers of spreading COVID-19. The platform isn't all about dance moves, recently helping spread the word about Black Lives Matter.
The community is so dope and so supportive, so that low-key breaks my heart a little bit, just to know that, the app could potentially be no more.
The Trump administration is also restricting the use of Wechat, messaging and payment software that's hugely popular with the Chinese diaspora.
The likelihood that Chinese companies, if this continues, if they will serve United States users, is questionable.
There's a plan for California-based tech firm Oracle to buy part of TikTok. But unless the deal is approved by the U.S. government, TikTok could be shut down there, potentially even slowing down the app for Canadian users.
Now, there is a catch. The U.S. is only planning a full ban on TikTok after the presidential election in November. That gives the company almost 2 months to finalize a U.S. ownership deal. And that's what the Trump administration wanted all along. Thomas Dagla, CBC News, Toronto.
I love his creative on cameras. Next on The National, seizing a moment of change.
If you look at the history of any pandemic in human history, it's always created massive change.
Indigenous filmmakers featured at TIFF tell us what this moment means for them.
We are 45 years old this year, and this is certainly the biggest challenge I've seen TIFF face.
A year unlike any other for the Toronto International Film Festival. Movie theaters remain mostly empty. Hollywood stars swapping red carpet appearances for virtual ones, and premieres took on a life of their own at the drive-in. Not exactly the bright lights TIFF usually attracts, but as the festival heads into its final weekend, its homegrown lineup has emerged as a bright spot. And headlining the Canadian talent, a new wave of Indigenous filmmakers pushing for change on both sides of the camera. Eli Glasner has that story.
Most of the history of Indians in North America has been erased.
Inconvenient Indian explores the disconnect between the history we see in museums and the messy truth.
When we try to capture our traditions again, we get criticized for it.
My friends who are being arrested.
Filmmaker Michelle Latimer has been on the front lines of Indigenous protests, an experience that changed her.
It's about bearing witness. It's made me more passionate and more rooted in the reasons why I'm telling stories. It feels urgent.
That urgency can be felt in a new wave of Indigenous films and TV shows, but there are challenges working with the unions and guilds.
These power structures that are set in place that for a long time have kept Indigenous people out of these positions.
So Latimer's making her own club, employing a mostly Indigenous crew for Trickster, where a teen wrestles with who he is.
Time is almost up. Fighting it only makes it worse.
This Inuk actor says that support was crucial.
Because there was so much mutual understanding and so much, mutual lived experience and respect.
Actor turned producer Jennifer Podemsky understands creating safe spaces isn't easy, even within her own community.
There is a lot of lateral violence. I am constantly looking for safety. I want to feel safe. And I know that other people younger than myself coming up in the industry also want to feel safe.
Welcome to the Shine Network.
It's one reason why she's launching a new platform to support Indigenous women. While the pandemic has disrupted much of the industry, Latimer sees an opportunity.
If you look at the history of any pandemic in human history, it's always created massive change. And I hope that that's going to happen here. I think it will.
Heard him roar, the warrior wild in the video store.
A time to refocus as Indigenous storytellers seize control of the narrative.
And I'm not the Indian you had in mind.
Eli Glasner, CBC News, Toronto.
Next on The National, a COVID survivor finally gets to go home after a long 6 months in hospitals. Our moment is next. For the Robertson family, COVID-19 has been deeply personal. Tori has been fighting and recovering from the virus for the past 6 months. Today, at long last, Tori got to go home, and that is our moment. A hero's welcome for Tori Robertson and his wife, Heidi.
I'm just overjoyed and so thankful that he's coming home finally.
Tori got sick back in March. A nurse in Detroit, he believes he caught COVID at work. It started as a sore throat and fever. Less than 2 weeks later, he was on a ventilator.
He had many organs failing, multiple and different infections. We were told to prepare for the worst.
It took 7 weeks in the ICU, 38 days on a ventilator.
From March 30th till May 30th, I didn't touch him, didn't see him or anything. I still remember just like staring out the window and I'm like telling myself he's alive. I wouldn't wish it on anybody.
But he survived.
Everybody along the way that's cared for Tori, they've been, amazing, and I'm forever grateful.
He spent 2 more months at a rehab facility fighting, and he still is.
He's my hero and my warrior.
Tori is dealing with the lingering effects of COVID, including damage to his brain and speech. A long road ahead, but after 173 days, he is glad to be home.
Excited.
So he was working as a nurse, it appears, when he contracted COVID. I mean, he definitely was working there, but he's not sure exactly where he got it. And it's a reminder of the terrible toll this virus can take. The deaths we hear about, we see the statistics, but then there are the cases like his wife Heidi wants everybody to know a couple of things. The thanks, as she said, for the team that helped him, but also that COVID, in her words, is not a hoax. That is a national for Friday, September the 18th. I'll see you on Sunday. Good night.